Thank you for joining us today and welcome to Table Talk. My guest is Sanda Ayers, who is a Sparta author of the Tommy Tractor series of children's books. Welcome to the show, Sandy.
Well, thank you, and thank you for having us.
Yeah.
And besides bringing my books, I did bring you some special guests that you'll see a little later.
The audience may hear them. I don't know. We've got a room full of officers and of canines and all kinds of excitement going on. So let's start with you, Sandy, and tell me what inspired you to start writing.
Well, in college, like most college students, I was poor, hungry, and tired. And I started writing for magazines, and I got $50. Oh, I was excited. I was going to make it rich.
Yeah.
So I started writing in college. And then when COVID hit, I started picking back up writing the children's books and stuff.
Yeah.
And one day we were doing a breakfast for children, and I seen Kilo do his paces, which is our canine. And I went, I can write that book. I didn't know Jake's name, but I knew Kilo. And so that's when I started writing the book about Kilo. And then I wrote another one about our search and rescue dog, which has went viral, both of these. We've been down to see the governor. I never thought this little tiny book would go so far, and it has. It's been everywhere. So.
Well, and I'll say that you have several books. I guess
Yeah.
one kind of snowballed into, is there 16 now?
There's 16 now, and each one of them does have a lesson. They're very clean books. There's no violence in them whatsoever, and I think that's why all the parents are liking them. Because I've always said from 0 to 5, children have to learn to read, and then from there on, they have to read to learn. And we've got to do something, because we're having a real problem. Right now, the governor put me on the Tennessee Commission of Literary Arts to see if we could do some changes in schools and stuff.
Yes, I had heard that they may go
Yeah.
back to phonics and
Yes.
things like that.
That's what they're
that
doing.
would be a big
Yeah.
change. So one of the themes of the book is the hug a tree. Tell us about that theme and the importance of it.
Okay, I would rather have the officers explain it to you because they know, but I did write the book, Hug a Tree, and I think it's going to help not only me, but also, all the people out there and also the officers when they're trying to find these people that are,
that
well, not
might
only
get not
kids,
kids, anybody.
because sometimes they have to do silver alert, where there's an elderly person that has wandered off and stuff. So sometimes they have to find them. So we're hoping that this does a lot of stuff. So
So we'll talk about that with the officers and how implementing that and kind of drilling that into all of our heads helps us if we ever get to a spot where we don't know where we are.
Right.
And that can happen to anybody.
Right.
Everybody seems like these days camps, kayaks, goes out into wildlife hunts. It can happen to anyone.
They said that 82% of the people that get lost are in the woods. And so, or in places, not in cities and stuff, but in the woods. So that's,
that's very, very,
Yeah.
it can be pretty common. So how do you come up with each story and kind of what's your planning process like?
A lot of times people tell me, and just like with Kilo, I was standing there and I was watching him, and as I was watching him, and I was dressed as an elf, I want you to know.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And as I was watching him, I was writing the book in my head. And then when I got a hold of Jake, Jake thought I was crazy. And then I wrote the book.
So Kilo lives with Jake, Officer Jake.
Right.
And so that's Jake.
Deputy.
Deputy Jake.
Jake.
Okay, yes.
And then with Charlie, Officer Charlie, we needed to do something with this Hug a Tree program. And so Officer Justin and Officer Charlie came and seen me, and I wrote the book for them. So.
And then also in the book, of course, we're in rural America, and tractors and farm animals and things like that. kids are just going to love all aspects
Right,
of the book.
yeah.
And you've worked with Emery Larson,
Right.
and it's beautifully illustrated. How do you collaborate with Emery on what you,
Okay,
how do you foresee the book to
There's a
look?
difference between a person who draws picture and an illustrator. An illustrator takes your words and actually brings them to life, and that's what Emery does for me. She actually takes if you can make a tractor cry, be sad, be sick, you're a good illustrator.
Okay.
And I met her when she was a sophomore at Tech, and 16 books later, we're still working. And we've also got a clothing line that is just at market right now, and it's Bedtime with Tommy Tractor in Kilo.
Well, how neat that you found a resource like that, basically locally. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
she's from the state or
She
not.
She is from the state.
Very gifted illustrator.
She's beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just beautiful work. What's it like going through the publication process for those that, think, hey, I might like to
I don't know. I just write words.
have some other people that facilitate that?
Like we say, I write the words, she draws pretty pictures, and then we give it to our agent, and he does it. But it is a process, and you have to be able to, so many words, the bleed, the block, everything, and it's a lot to it. And it's
Yeah.
just not like sit down, write a book, and then tomorrow it's going to be published. It don't work like that. So.
Probably at least a year or longer in the process.
I think we did Kilo within 6 months. We had him out. We did a book signing, and he was down at the governor's office within 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
how do you get the books out in the community?
We have a website, TommyTractorAdventures.com. We also, they're at a lot of stores, and they're in 15 different stores around the United States.
Oh, wow.
And now we're going international.
Okay.
Okay.
Is Amazon one of the places
Amazon's
yet?
one of them.
Okay.
Amazon is, and Estes is one of them. And there's just, if you go on, we have Facebook and Instagram, and you can go on any of those and get those books.
Do you work with the school systems on trying to get these in the school
Yes.
libraries?
Yes.
Okay.
We do a lot of schools, don't we, boys? A lot of schools, so, yeah.
Yeah, so you
Yeah.
all travel around pretty frequently trying to get
Yeah.
the message out there.
We do,
Yeah.
we do, so.
Well, thank you, Sandy.
Well,
We're
thank
going to
you.
take a short break, and we'll be right back with some of the characters of the books and their officer and deputy that they live with. But that's
Yeah.
going to be pretty exciting.
Well, I've always said if Kilo and Charlie could drive a car and sign their names, we really don't need Jake and Justin because
Okay.
nobody comes to see them. So, yeah, so.
But they do the critical. They home them. They are, in their homes. It's not like
Yeah.
that these dogs go into a pen at night. There's lots of
Yeah.
love in their life, too.
But they're trying to teach people about bite dogs and stuff, and that you shouldn't touch them. So there's a
Yeah.
lot to this.
Working dogs are
They're
are
working.
different.
Yes, okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Sandy, and we'll be right back with more Table Talk.